Tonight, the Republicans keep the Senate.
The Democrats take the House.
And we have your local election results next. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Power.
And I'm Jasmine Durachi. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
Starting our election coverage with one of the most visible races in the state, the 5th Congressional District saw Republican Cathy McMorris Rodgers competing for her 8th term against Democrat Lisa Brown. Justin Barnes joins us with the results from that race.
On Tuesday, voters here at WSU all across Washington State and throughout the country cast their ballots in a pivotal midterm election.
This is the first opportunity that I've had to actually display my opinion towards our local and state governments. And I think that this is important because these local and state governments are the ones that impact us the most.
The districts targeted nationwide by Democrats to flip this election, the 8th stretching from eastern King County all the way to Lake Chelan, and the 5th featuring Spokane and Pullman. Washington's 5th district, incumbent Cathy McMorris Rodgers managed to hold on even though Lisa Brown put up a very tough fight. In central Washington, in the 8th district, Democrat Kim Schreier is currently ahead of Republican Dino Rossi. While the vote isn't final yet, it looks like the district's going to turn blue.
Later in the show, I'll have more on Initiative 1631. Back to you guys at the desk.
In another local race, WSU graduate student Matthew Sutherland made a push for the 9th legislative seat. Reporter Zach Anders attended a watch party last night and has reaction to those results.
The Whitman County Democrats gathered at Banyan's in Pullman last night hoping for a local blue wave, and while the early results didn't return in their favor, they still celebrated.
And across the country, we now have confirmation that Fox News, Politico, and CNN have called the House of Representatives a Democratic.
The Sutherland camp is waiting for the results from Whitman to come in. The results in Garfield and Asotin counties are starting to trickle in. It doesn't look good, but the camp here is still hopeful that the 3,000 or so students that they got to register to vote over the last few months are going to be what puts them over the top.
The first round of results last night showed Democrat Matthew Sutherland trailed big to incumbent Joe Schmick with a 64 to 35% lead. The campaign to elect the 25-year-old grad student was comprised of mostly student volunteers who last night said ballot issues could be why they're so far down.
They stopped counting the ballots just so that they can have everyone working the phones to be talking to 4 or 5 voters at once about all of their ballot problems.
As of last night, the Whitman County Auditor's Office says some 6,000 ballots are left to be counted, but throughout Whitman County, no Democrat led any race for any local or legislative position. Zach Anders, Murrow News 8.
In a race for the U.S. Senate, incumbent Maria Cantwell won re-election for a 4th term, defeating former state GOP party chairwoman Susan Hutchison. Cantwell received over 58% of the vote. Cantwell has served since being elected to Senate in 2000. A Republican has not been sent by voters to the Senate from Washington State since 1994.
While Senator Maria Cantwell may have won her bid for re-election, the Democrats did not take the Senate back from Republican control. The Republicans won key matchups in North Dakota, Indiana, and Missouri, where Democrats needed to hold on to states that President Trump won. Florida and Arizona's results stayed tight, but it ultimately appears that these states go to the Republicans. However, Florida Senator Bill Nelson will pursue a recount. The polls largely had the results correct, with a few Republicans outperforming them. Democrats flipped Nevada, kept Montana, and came very close to overtaking deep red Texas.
However, Democrats won back the House after 8 years in the minority. Democrats needed to gain 24 seats to flip control of the House, and they now have 220 of 435 total seats. Last night's victory marked a win for the Democratic Party, regardless of the final breakdown of seats.
When we come back, disagreements on a carbon tax lead to its rejection.
And Washington passes gun control legislation. When Murrow News 8 continues.
Hey!
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
In addition to all of the political races around the country, we had a number of initiatives to vote on here in Washington. We start our team coverage with quite the buzz regarding Initiative 1634 passing in Washington state. Aijane Taylor joins us to give us the details on this situation. Aijane?
Thanks, Jennifer. Initiative 1634, an initiative prohibiting local governments from adding or increasing taxes on groceries, passed. Nearly 55% of voters favored the measure statewide, and interestingly enough, even more, 56.5% of voters favored the measure here in Whitman County.
This initiative will not reverse Seattle's soda tax, which took effect at the beginning of the year. After the soda tax, the beverage industry began to aid the I-1634 effort. The Coca-Cola Company donated $9.7 million. PepsiCo added another $7.3 million, while other soda manufacturers donated nearly $3.3 million to the campaign. Their efforts aim to prevent the beverage tax from spreading to other cities. The vote seemed confusing to some because a yes vote would mean a no, added taxes on food or beverage items. Something important to know, state law already prohibits local sales taxes on food and beverage items, with exceptions to prepared foods. However, cities still have the option to tax items through other means. Seattle's excise tax proves as an example. King, Jefferson, and San Juan counties all opposed I-1634, but the initiative faced a sweeping approval across the rest of the state. Many of the opposing side of the initiative believe that soda companies only wanted to protect their profits amid a new wave of regulations designed to promote health and limit sugar beverage consumption.
So basically, we have no new taxes on groceries, but what do you think about the final results of I-1634? Let us know on Facebook and Twitter using @MurrowNews8. For more team coverage, we now go to Justin Barnes with information on I-1631.
Of the 4 ballot initiatives in Washington state this fall, by far the most controversial was I-1631, a carbon fee that would charge industries who pollute the environment.
We can't stop fighting, you know. We only have one climate. And we only have one planet, and you know, we'll just keep working to find other ways to put this on to implement these kinds of solutions, because it's clear our state needs it. You know, I'm personally tired of not being able to go outside for 3 weeks in the summertime due to all the forest fires.
Voters likely rejected this initiative due to concerns of price increases at the pumps and higher energy bills. Justin Barnes, Murrow News 8.
Washington voters did vote to pass Initiative 1639 on gun control. The measure raises the legal age to buy semi-automatic rifles to 21 and requires people to pass an enhanced background check, take a training course, and wait 10 business days after purchase. I-1639 also enacts a storage law requiring people to secure their firearms with devices such as a trigger lock or safe. Initiative 940 now makes it so prosecutors don't have to prove law enforcement officers acted with evil intent or so-called malice. When filing criminal charges against them, the initiative receives strong support in the 32 years since state lawmakers decided that police officers need to demonstrate evil intent before facing charges for misusing deadly force. Only one officer faced prosecution, but the court found him not guilty.
When we come back, a campus visit from a potential new dean.
And new recognition for a group on campus when Murrow News 8 returns.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
A third candidate for the future WSU Associate Vice President for Campus Life and Dean of Students position visited campus Monday. Jill Cretin, who claims Washington State as her home, currently serves as the Assistant Dean of Students for Conduct and Operations at the University of Oregon. More specifically, Cretin says she values standing by students, maintaining timely responsiveness, department transparency, and community building.
The Graduate and Professional Student Association passed a resolution to recognize Indigenous Peoples Day at their Monday meeting this week. David Silva says GPSA's practices have to embody the best for everyone, including Indigenous peoples.
Next, Emma Jerome brings us an update on the weather this week.
When Murrow News 8 returns.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
With the wind picking up and everyone getting out their hats and scarves, I'm wondering how this weekend will turn out. Emma, what do we have in store?
Thanks, Jennifer. And that's right, Pullmanites. It's officially becoming that kind of year, or that time of year where, in my opinion, it's not appropriate to wear anything less than a snowsuit. I swear I stepped outside for a minute today and felt like both of my arms were going to fall off. That's because at night, the temperatures are actually dropping to those 20 and low 30 degrees. If you look outside right now, it's a mere 34 degrees, but it's even going to drop lower than that as the nighttime turns over. Going more stateside, we're going to see the same sorts of temperatures from the east side of the state, with a high around the mid-40s and then a low around the mid-20s for the east side, Spokane and Pullman. Going more central Washington, the hottest we're actually going to get is in Yakima, so although it's the Palm Springs of Washington, I wouldn't take out those Keenies just yet. Going all the way to the west side, we are going to see some partly clouds but no rain, which is actually a surprise if you ask me. That whole Seattle thing, I've never really understood that. Tomorrow, we're actually going to get around the same weather that we have today. Morning temperature of 34, picking up to like only 45 in the afternoon, although it will be sunny, and then dropping back down to 31 over the night. Going for our weekly forecast, we'll see that tomorrow we're actually, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, we're going to get some wind and rain on Friday with a high of 44 and a low of 28. It's never going to get hotter than 44 degrees as we go throughout the week, except for when we go to next Monday, when we're going to hit 45, and Tuesday's going to hit a high of 48. We still see those clouds and those sun, but it will be cold.
Wow, you guys, I'm not really ready for it to be so cold outside.
Nope, definitely not either.
I am.
Well, thank you for watching tonight. Join us every weeknight at 7 and 10 for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
Have a great evening, and don't forget to follow Murrow News 8 on Facebook and Twitter.
Good night, Pullman.